This work explores my identity as a mixed girl. Layered identity's form is inspired by a specific text from famous Kenyan author Binyavanga Wainaina's Bamwa. One day I'll write about this place. Binyavanga and I were both raised in the same hometown, Nakuru, Kenya. Here, Binyavanga likens the flight of flamingos to the rising of skirts. There is also a reveal of underneath the skirts. Through this text, I explore my own identity. I play with colors to represent my mixed identity. When I think of pink of flamingos in Lake Nakuru in Kenya and pink of Japanese cherry blossoms. When I think of Japanese cherry blossoms, I think of purple jacaranda flowers. I reminisce and associate on Japanese cherry blossoms when seeing purple jacaranda heads in the dusty streets of Nakuru. I say that jacaranda flowers are Kenyan cherry blossoms, even though in reality they are historical markers of British presence in their former colonies. Then there's the blue of Lake Nakuru and blue of the sky, pink, blue, and purple. I find it interesting that also when you mix pink and blue, you get purple. Here's the first skirt I made. I originally planned it to be a performative piece by wearing the skirt, but instead I realized that the underneath of my skirt had to be seen. This made me uncomfortable. It was too vulnerable. So instead I put it on a dress form. The piece was displayed with fans underneath the skirt, revealing the layers of the skirt and the panties. Through this piece, objectification could be read, especially with the bare-chested dress form, which was not part of what I wanted to portray. So I decided to make a bigger skirt to represent the expansive nature of Lake Nakuru. The skirt also represents me and is thus the same height as me. The outside of the skirt represents what people's perceptions of me are at face value or at first encounter. The first experience is Kenya with flamingos and the inside experience is Japan. From the outside, one can see shadows of cherry blossoms and jacaranda flowers, which are on the inside of the skirt. And on the inside of the skirt, one can see shadows of the flamingos that are on the outside of the skirt. This shows that this shows how my identities affect and influence my experience with the world. This is the bottom view of the skirt. Then there's the Made in series. The Made in series consists of two kangas. Kangas are or lesos are one of Kenya's textile. It is a traditional cotton fabric worn by mostly women. It is a beautiful, colorful printed fabric with a basic design layout of a border pattern called pindo, center pattern, mji, and its most distinguishing characteristic, a printed Kiswahili proverb or saying known as jina, which is the name of the kanga. Kanga is a communicative textile through the Swahili inscriptions with hidden meanings and specific motifs and designs used at the border and center. It is used as a means of communication among people, especially women. When you want to buy a kanga in the market in Kenya, you have to read the inscriptions on them before you buy them because some of them are private messages. Some say he likes my body or I chose him myself. Kangas are a social textile. In Kiswahili society, it is considered shameful for women to directly express negative feelings such as jealousy, denial, or complaints. By skillfully using a kanga, women are able to subtly give a voice to their feelings. I make my own kangas using the same visual elements and colors in the skirt to communicate my experience and feelings as Kenyan Japanese in Kenya and in Japan. This is the first made in series made in Japan for Kenya. I am basing the title of this to the fact that before the increase in domestic production of kanga in Kenya, most kangas in Kenya were imported from different countries, including Japan. Kangas were attributed to which country they came from or were made in. So the titles are wordplays of being made in and coming from a country, but for a different country. So in this case, this Kenyan kanga made in Japan, being Japanese in Kenya as an experience. The message reads, nachongolewa na ulimi wangu, najifanya kiziwi anga naweza kufahamu. It translates to, I am belittled by my own tongue as I fake deafness despite my understanding. This speaks to my experience in Kenya as I walk in the market and I can hear people talk about me or gossip me in Kiswahili as they assume I don't understand and yet I do. This is the second piece Japanese kanga made in Japan, being Kenyan in Japan as an experience. The saying reads, Ewe uwala peponi, waridi lisilo miba, nani atakuthamini akijua kitambulisho chako? It translates to, O flower of paradise, rose without thorns, who will respect you when they recognize your identity? This speaks to my experience in Japan, where since my hair is more afro textures and likes to occupy space, and I am not as light in complexion as most Japanese people can tell that I am half Japanese. One day, as I got into a train and sat next to an elderly man, he immediately stood and went to sit away from me. I could tell that he did not want to sit next to me. I remember thinking, I do not bite. I will end this with a print and a quote that I made that reads, I paint my sky pink and purple, and I feel a little less blue. I am Kenyan and Japanese, pink and purple. Thank you.